everything that I know says I gotta go, tired of going solo. But I'm never gonna go there again. This is what it is, this is who I am, this is where I finally take my stand. I didn't wanna fall, but I don't have to grow. I'm not the one with two star hands, giving him the best of everything that's left of the life inside this man. I've been born again.
Yes, and a happy new year to everybody. This is Eddie the Huff with David the Van Risingham, and we are glad to be back with you. David, how are you?
Awesome.
Did you have a wonderful
Yes, I did. Finished
holiday
the year
season?
great. Saw Mama, saw the family, and got all the winter I wanted. Went to Minnesota for a week, and I'm done with it.
Very, very good. And
Yep.
we are blessed today and graced to have with us a Tulsa local celebrity, among conservatives at least, and a nemesis of the left, our dear friend, Miss Ronda. Ronda, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing all right. Ronda, why don't you say hello to the people over there?
Hi.
And, do one of these, Ronda.
Is that the beauty queen wave?
I haven't gotten that one down. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
look at me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, we're really glad to have you. Ronda and I have been friends, and maybe not so good of friends occasionally. No,
We don't always agree.
no,
but
we don't agree.
I'm
That's
okay
the
with
beauty
that.
of it. No, exactly. We are really. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand about people like us.
Right.
We can discuss and argue about things, but yet it doesn't affect who we are in our relationship. Same with David. We've told a story a number of times how we actually met. It was online back when he was I almost said DeSantis. It was big point.
Was it Santorum?
Santorum.
Yeah, right. Rick.
And then Cruz.
Cruz. It was actually Cruz where we really got into it. And he was a Ted Cruz supporter. And
As was I.
Oh, right.
I worked on his campaign, sure did.
Oh, okay. And I was an early Trump guy. And we used to have fun. We used to have such fun on Facebook, just going back and forth. But he never took it seriously. I would just jab and poke.
Oh, he pokes.
I mean, I would do some stuff, and I would just be laughing. And David never got upset, and he won and earned my respect.
Well, because the next time I saw him, you had the Defenders of Liberty Awards,
right?
And Eddie was there. I come up, Eddie, how you doing? And Eddie was kind of like. It's like, are we cooler?
Yeah, right. It was,
Ronda, you worked really hard for the Santorum campaign.
No.
You were in calling.
I did. I
phone.
worked on the Santorum, yes, in 2012. And
in
then 2016, it was Ted Cruz.
But yeah, and I remember I had a person come in. We got to stop Romney. He's a Mormon, and they're a cult. And I right there at the headquarters on 71st, and we're going outside, and I said, we've got good Mormons supporting Santorum. You start trashing their religion, and you'll lose them. Yeah. I'm not going to have that.
Yeah, right.
And then I remember when New Valley Forge, who was working for Cruz, had a meeting. In fact, it was the sunroom of your house. And I remember I finally had one comment. I said, Iowa hasn't happened yet. But by the time we get from Iowa to Oklahoma's primary, we'll go from like 17 candidates down to 3 or 4.
Yeah, we will.
And those 12 or so are going to have to find a new candidate. And if we make them mad, we won't have them.
That's right.
And I said, particularly Ben Carson, because I think we can get Ben's support. And then remember what happened in Iowa when I think it was Congressman King made a speculation that Carson was getting our race, and then Trump really stepped on it and caused that rift. And it's those rifts that are going to happen, and other people are going to try. And then on top of that, you got to unite a party
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do after a primary season.
Well, I try going into primary to explaining to people that it's great to be passionate and to get out and work for your candidate, but they don't always win.
Yeah.
And so if your candidate doesn't win, then it's important that you take a few days. It's going to take a few days to overcome that because you put everything you have got into that candidate.
Yeah.
But we have to pick ourselves up and we have to get behind who the nominee is.
That's exactly
regardless of whether we like them, we don't like them. And that's why I really, I try to get people not to talk ugly to one another.
Yeah.
about their candidates or take things on that way, and you can't take things personally. But it becomes very emotional and very personal for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's one of the things that was always so good about the Pat Campbell show. Mm-hmm. That Pat and I didn't agree on a lot of things.
Right.
He was, he was really, really very supportive of Ted Cruz. Remember, he introduced him, and it was, and he
was all in.
All in. And he did all kinds of things, and I used to just love just poking that bear. I remember, do you remember the statement that Trump did, I could stand on
out in the street and
Fifth Avenue,
and
right. So Pat took that clip, and he kept playing it one morning, and so I knew what the total clip said. Mm-hmm. So I downloaded and I went into our producer and I said, I want you to put this in. And I said, you keep playing this clip and that's not what he said. Yes, it is. I said, no. And I told Annika, play this. And so it played. He said, people say that I could stand, and people also say I played the end where he said something else. And boy, Pat just got so mad, because I said.
Yeah, he didn't like to be shown up.
Right, because this is but see, this is the trick that people do. This is what the leftist media does. Yeah. And I was saying, Pat, you can't do that. We cannot play their game.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
because you
always have got to be honest. You got to be truthful. You got to be straightforward because it'll come back and bite you. And so, and it's the right thing to do. If either it's the right message or it's not. And so, don't try and make something out of some little clip.
Exactly.
Rhonda, even more so than, and it's a big challenge, and it falls on your shoulders about unifying the party behind the nominee for the general election. But even more so than that, Rhonda, you've spent over a decade getting involved at the legislature on issues and working initiatives, and you need a team that doesn't have a whole bunch of, drama going on.
Well, good luck with that.
Yes.
Which is a good place to transition into your role now.
Sure.
So, Rhonda, you are the chairman of the Tulsa County Republican Party. Mm-hmm. And you've had that role now how long?
3 years now.
3 years. And has it been fun?
It has been. It's been a lot of fun. We've accomplished a lot.
And challenging,
It has been very challenging. But, number one, everyone's a volunteer, including myself. And so it's not like you can fire people, and you've got different emotions that you have to deal with, and, different, I want to call them gangs, but
clicks would be there, yeah. But maybe bordering gang. Bordering gang.
But so you've got these different cliques, and you just have to, as the chairman, you have to let stuff roll off of you. You can't let things, things get to you. We had a very ugly race last year, that wasn't ugly because of anything that I did, but it was an ugly race that didn't have to be that way. But it was. But I also said that I would offer an olive branch to anyone that was willing to come back and wanted to work together. And I have done that. So some of the people that were very against me were now working very well together. But it just takes being able to do that. And then, I think people wanted to see me as competition, and I'm not competition. I'm a resource. And that's all I ever wanted to be, was a resource.
Let back up to the term volunteer, because I don't know if people understand that yours is not a paid position. You devote your time. At the same time, you're running a business.
Not anymore. We sold our business.
Oh, you did sell the business.
At the end of June, sure did.
Okay.
And so I no longer have that responsibility. But also know this, that when we were in the process of selling the business, my husband asked me if I wanted what I wanted out of it. And I'm like, well, I don't know. What are you talking about? And he says, well, do you want a job? And I'm like, hell no. That's
hail, Hail, right? Like the big stones that are coming down.
Yeah.
No hail, right? But yeah, I'm sure that. So the first 2 years, let's say, of the 3, you were running this business, because I know I used to call, and you would be there, setting up appointments for
like that,
air conditioning, heating. But yeah, so I can't imagine. Just your schedule. It was busy.
It was very busy.
Sure.
And that's one of the things that, when we did sell the business, or when Tim was in the process of doing that, I told him, I said, 2024 is a busy year for me, and I'm not going to be home. So, he found he's going to do something different, because he can't, he wants to stay busy.
Sure.
And he should be able to enjoy it. But I'm like, I can't retire just yet. I've got stuff to do.
Yeah. It's like people ask me all the time, when are you retiring? I said, when you find me asleep at my desk and I don't wake up.
I heard one guy say, I am retired because yesterday I was tired and today I'm tired again.
That's right.
I'm retired, right.
Yeah. So I'm happy for Tim. I'm excited for what he's getting to do. And he gets to ride his hog more now.
Yeah, that's right.
But I just wanted people to understand that this is a volunteer position, that you're not getting paid. It's something, a labor of love and a passion.
Right, it is.
And more people need to step up.
Just give a little bit. Don't even get me started, Eddie.
I know. She's been on me
Unity, folks.
For those 3 years but
no,
anyway.
It does. It takes everybody. And if everybody will do just a little bit, then we can accomplish great things.
Right.
We've accomplished a lot in the time that we've been here. That I've been in office, one of the goals we had was to flip school board. Okay. Well, we weren't able to flip the school board. But we did get Alina Ashley on.
Yeah.
And from that, we've received an audit. We're getting an audit, and and Gist is gone. Yeah. And so are a lot of the other people. So we are sitting here and chipping away at the things that we said were important, which is our community. Everybody's so focused on what's going on nationally. And it's like, if we can't clean up our own backyard, we can't clean up the country. So we wanted to flip city council in Tulsa. We flipped city council. We got 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats, and a Libertarian. So we were able to do that. We've done quite a bit over the course of time, and you're going to see more and more, come together as we work together. But it's not me. It's every other group out there that's willing to work together to achieve a common goal. And so it's all the different clubs that are out there doing their thing. So when you see issues and candidates that come up, it's not any one person that caused that for that person to be successful. It's a collaboration of a number of people. And I think once people realize that it's a win, whether you're the lead on the project or you're just one of the helper bees, it's a win no matter what. And that's what we're for, is looking for W's.
I've noticed something early on. You were founder of the Tulsa 912 Project, which was, I think Glenn Beck had something to do with, spirit. But
he was inspired.
Yeah,
yes.
But then early on, you worked with some groups like Americans for Prosperity, Oklahoma Council on Public Affairs. And I wasn't sure what to make of those folks. But because the lead you took, I thought, maybe I can work with them. And especially like AFP, Americans for Prosperity, John Tidwell heads up the Oklahoma thing. We work together on a lot of things, but the Koch brothers, who I disagree with on some issues, appreciate them on others.
One's dead and the other one's almost dead, and he doesn't.
Right, but their policies, like on immigration, border policy, for example, we're not together. I'm not with them. But when it comes to Oklahoma legislation,
oh yeah.
So the message in that is find where you can work together.
Yes.
And leave the other alone.
That's right. You don't. So you don't agree. There's some things with OCPA we do not see eye to eye on. When they wanted to do the vouchers, I said I'm very opposed to vouchers. I prefer tax credits. We were in opposition on that. We're not always going to be in agreement, but where we are, then we need to let them take the lead.
Yeah.
And then we become foot soldiers behind them to help push that message through. Yeah. And I think that if we can start learning to do that, find the areas where there is agreement, and then there's a lot of things that we're going to have to work on this year. We've, coming up that. Find an area, stick with it.
Yeah.
But one of my largest complaints is find a lane and stay in your lane. You don't have to be everything to everybody. You play this one role, and that's your role. It's kind of like, then and if this person's doing what they're supposed to do, in the end we're going to have a nice building.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I try to.
Right. The other one you worked with nationally is Freedom Works, and I instilled in
and Heritage
today.
Action.
Yeah. So those are just some of the things that I appreciate that the Tea Party kind of, I guess, grew up, and got involved in the system.
Well, the thing is, it's these organizations are out there and they want to help, and they've got resources.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that we seem to lack is some resources.
Yeah.
So take advantage of what they have. If somebody's out there talking on ESG. Let's get them. Instead of me having to go and learn all about ESG and try and teach it, let's just tap into what's already out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's back up a little bit because today is a momentous anniversary.
Patriots Day.
Patriots Day.
Yeah,
there
it
we go.
is. It's
That's
also Feast of Epiphany.
You would have to go
yes.
there.
I went to Bible school.
Dave's always got to take us somewhere else. Not exactly.
Epiphany, I don't know. What did he say?
Yeah, the Catholics recognize that's when the wise men came, but they took 2 weeks to show up.
Yeah. Well, we didn't stop and ask for directions.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there was no woman with him, right?
But yeah, January 6th.
That's what you would get.
Oh, that's right.
The modern version, yeah.
Boom.
Oh, but today is January 6th.
Yep.
And was it 3 years ago now?
Yep.
Yes.
Wow, man, how time flies. How time flies. And sadly, we have brothers and sisters that are languishing in prisons over, to me, pardon the pun, a trumped up charges.
Oh, they are.
False charges. And this person in the White House who had nerve enough to give a speech the other evening claiming that the democracy was under assault. It saddens me. Honestly, it tears me apart. I don't know whether I'm sadder or angrier. It's this mix of emotions because of the lies anger me, and yet I'm saddened at the fact that so few people recognize. I think more people understand they're being lied to.
Yeah,
I think the majority of people understand. It's just that so many that know that it's a lie are complicit in the lie. They know it's a lie.
But not calling it a lie.
Exactly. They're behind it. They support the lie. For some reason, they believe it's the old ethical thing, situational ethics, that they believe that the ends justify the means.
Right.
So by whatever means necessary, Eldridge Cleaver wrote a book, By Whatever Means Necessary.
Yeah.
And they have bought into this idea, lie, steal, cheat, even kill, if necessary, to achieve our goal, which is essentially, as Obama put it, the
transformation.
Exactly, the transformation. What did he call it? The fundamental
transformation.
The fundamental transformation of America. And I look at YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube, Facebook, these different things, social media, and I look and see all of these young people busy partying, going to sporting events, worried about what they're wearing, what cars they're driving, what's his name? Kelsey is, him and Taylor Swift.
Right, yes.
This kind of stuff. And in the media, sports media, they're not even worried about what the Chiefs are doing on the field. They're up in the press box.
What does Taylor think?
What does Taylor think? Who cares what Taylor thinks? It's what's down on the field,
Yeah.
Then you got
that
Pat.
has been a big distraction this year.
It has. And then you got Pat Mahomes and his silly wife, and the stupid things she's doing, and his brother. There he's got his brother. And, I mean, it's just shenanigans. I mean, it's like ridiculous. And I think back on the people who shaped football, the legends of the game, the people who have suffered. What is that illness they've come up with? CTE. It's the brain injuries that these football
players. It's a concussion thing,
right?
Yeah,
right. It's called CTE. I don't know what it stands for. Which, but it's a brain trauma, and I know that I think it's been misused, like everything else, like COVID. They've blown it out of proportion,
or ADD, or any of that other stuff. Right?
Exactly,
it's been overused.
Exactly,
and so when it's overused, then it's no longer effective.
Right, but these people have suffered from their injuries, whether it's brain, their muscles, their bones, their ligament. These people played football,
right?
They brought the game to it. And I remember, I still remember when the world was shocked because Joe Namath signed the biggest contract ever in history for $100,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like Dr. Evil. I demand $1 million.
Yeah.
Remember that? And everybody looking at each other and they start laughing. $1 million was great back in '60. For a ransom, but today you'd want $1 billion. And so, but it's just. This Biden administration, they have destroyed everything. And the greatest thing that they have destroyed and are destroying at the time, and I want to get your story because you were there on January 6th, Ronda. We want to hear that. But is the perversion of the term democracy. They've taken that word, and we've discussed it here a lot,
right?
The reshaping of terms, that they perverted the word democracy.
Right.
And turned it into something totally different.
Right.
And I always bring up the fact that it's interesting that they want to harp on this word. It's just like North Korea. It's the KP, Korean People's Democratic, KPD R. Yeah, it's a Korean People's Democratic Republic is what it is. And Germany was the Deutsche Democratic Republic. All of these countries that have Democrat,
Well, they're trying to make it. They're trying to make that be the almost like a good word or
exactly.
Or whatever. And
but
it just means 50% plus one.
It's
right,
mob rule.
That's all it is. I mean,
right,
it just means mob rule.
but everyone that has Democrat in their name is a communist country,
Right.
and that's the thing that people here need to understand. Don't let them use this word democracy, because basically what they mean is essentially totalitarianism.
Right.
So,
but we have a mockingbird media. And so democracy is the word du jour. And so they're going to be the ones, and this is what I try to explain to people, is that we have a media that is against us. Yeah. And so we're never going to get the favorable side. So, you know, when they talk democracy, they try to make it sound like it's pretty.
right.
But it's not. And in reality, it's like you say, communism or, you know, mob rule and such. But they're not going to call it that because democracy sounds a little more sexy.
Exactly.
And it sounds like you have a voice.
Yes.
You know.
Right.
And so when in fact it's nothing but 50% plus one, according, you know.
And that's what, but the problem is it's really not even 50% plus one. It's the one going down instead of from down up.
Right.
It's coming down, and that's what we've got to continue to. And I ask you people out there, spread the word. They have perverted the term democracy. It's not what it means. What they are trying to present, it's not what they mean. Anyway, but to move from there, so you were there on January 6th.
I was.
And so you were at the rally.
Okay. Now
At the Trump rally. I mean,
no, I was not.
Oh, you were not. Okay, I'm sorry. Tell us.
I'd had a migraine and had been throwing up that night, and so I told the guys, because there were 7 of us that all went together, and I said, if you guys go and listen, because we were just a block away from the ellipse, I said, if you guys go and listen to the president, give me just a little time, try and shake this headache, and then we'll go down to the Capitol. After that, y'all come and get me. And so that's what happened. However, and this is why I have a completely, I think, a different perspective than a lot of people, is that before they ever made it back 1 block or 1 or 2 blocks from the ellipse to the hotel, the break-in or the insurrection, whatever they want to call it, had already occurred. The scaling of the walls and all of that was going down, because I had it showing on television when they came in.
Well, Trump was still speaking.
Right, and Trump was still speaking, so people aren't even putting the timeline together that there's no way that you could have listened to the president speak. And when it disbanded, because there was probably 250,000 to 500,000 people standing there listening to the president, so it was wall to wall people, and that's why it took them my group so long to get back to me, is because it was wall to wall people. So they get back, and now I lost my train of thought. But so you couldn't have left from the ellipse and walk down to the Capitol in time to have been there to scale the walls and create mayhem. So the timeline isn't even right when you've got some people. So they came in. My group came. I was ready at the time. I told them what was going on. We watched it a few minutes on television, got dressed, and we walked down to the Capitol. Now, I'm going to tell you, from the time that we drove into Washington, D.C. the day before, there was a completely different feeling in our nation's capital. It didn't feel right. Everything just felt like it was kind of off kilter. You had to go through police checkpoints to get to your hotel. And then so we...
Wait a minute. Before the rally?
Before the rally. This was the day before, when we drove in the day before. You had to go through these police checkpoints. Wow. Well, then that night there was a big gathering on Liberty Square, which you could look down from my hotel room.
Yeah,
and there was the Liberty. I forget what it's called, but it's Freedom Square. And they had speakers, they had a band, they had different things the night before.
Yeah,
but still nothing, it just didn't feel right. Now, we knew to be on the lookout for people that were going to be there to disrupt. We knew that there were going to be people wearing Trump gear, and you could identify some because they would wear their hat backwards and stuff. And you could see thugs that were walking around in that manner. You knew who the enemy. You could look and see who the people were that were the disruptors. I don't call them enemies. I'll just say the disruptors. By the time we got to the Capitol, that's when they were doing the flashbangs, and
so
tear
you
gas.
did go down there.
We walked down to the Capitol.
To the open area.
Right. Yeah, we never went inside the Capitol.
Right.
We helped carry bodies over the wall and stuff that had been tear gassed and stuff, and had some medical needs. We helped with that, but we didn't go anywhere near going into the Capitol.
But that you went because you had seen on TV what was going on.
I knew, and I wanted to witness what was going on firsthand, because I knew that that the story coming out wasn't going to be anything. And I think that's why it was so difficult when I got home. It probably took me about 2 weeks to decompress out of that, because of what you saw and what was being reported were two completely different things. So, and people would ask me, well, why did you even want to go? And to which I answered, President Trump only asked for two things. He asked for our vote, and he asked us to show up on January the 6th. And with everything that man had sacrificed for our country, it was the least that I could do is to go and show him support.
Yeah, because you saw the corruption of election night and the overnight hours and the, in all the illegal ballot boxes.
Right.
So yeah, you went in there knowing that there was great suspect in a number of states that should have gone Trump.
Right. Yeah. And so, the man has been treated poorly. They continue to treat him poorly, and I've not seen anybody that's willing to sacrifice what he is, to see that all Americans prosper.
And I would assume, given all the corruption that we witness in the elections and the ballot and all that, you're probably even more motivated to go on January 6th.
I was right, but yes, because I did. I think that if there was doubt as to whether or not that was an illegally held election, I think that those should have been those questions should have been answered prior to confirming the election. And so no, I went because our president asked us to, and and as we were talking earlier, I was not a supporter of Trump
early on,
right? But about 6 months in, he proved everything, and what he said he did, and he got things done. And after that, I'm like, I'm with you.
See, I like the way Dr. Everett Piper put it. About 4 or 5 months after Trump's in office, he's speaking at the Republican Men's Club. And he's got his prepared remarks. And he says, before we go any further in today's remarks, I want to say something about Donald Trump. Because he was critical.
Right.
He said about Donald Trump, crow never tasted so good.
That's right.
I just love that.
And he's right.
And you and I are both kind of there. Now, Eddie was more enlightened. He knew earlier on. I think it was that 20,000 seat ORU stadium thing that he told Greta about. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Oh my. No. I think I think I've talked about this before. What turned me around was just the honesty of the guy. We could look at him in some sense as a despicable character in a way.
Like you don't want him babysitting.
Yeah, the way that some people will judge, character. But see, if you've ever read the Bible from cover to cover, there are some despicable characters that God used.
That's usually what he used.
Yeah. Well, a lot, very often, yeah.
I've had preachers mad at me because I said I wouldn't trust King David around my wife.
Yeah,
right.
He's a known adulterer.
Yes, and but But what got me about Trump was just his honesty and the way he is attacked for the silliest things.
Oh, yeah.
For example, he talked about 2 Corinthians instead of 2 Corinthians. And they, and I was, are you guys, I've been in numerous Bible studies or heard numerous preachers talk about 2 Corinthians. It's not like that's the first time that anybody's ever said 2 Corinthians.
Yeah, but that's because they don't have anything else.
Yes,
I mean they're going to find whatever they can. It's like the kofefe, and it's like, okay.
I have a cup in there.
Yeah, I did too. Mine broke.
Did you? No, mine is in a special way. The kofefe, yeah, but. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, I say, like you said, don't you have anything better to do?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I could get off on that, but I want to stick on the Trump deal. But so early on, and what did it for me was when he gave an interview to the Rolling Stone reporter. And the Rolling Stone reporter and he apparently were watching Carly Fiorina somewhere.
Okay.
And Trump told the Rolling Stone reporter, look at that face. Would you vote for that? And they asked him later, did you really say that? And he said, yes.
He was honest.
Exactly. And I said, are you kidding me? He actually had nerve enough to admit. Most people, I never said that. That guy's lying. But that was the first thing that enlightened me, that here's a guy who owns up to the things he did.
Right.
If he said it, he said it. If he didn't, he didn't.
Yeah.
Whereas all these other guys, I'm not going to go back there.
Oh, right. He's honest about it. He'll exaggerate.
Exactly.
But he's honest,
Right.
But,
and you know what? Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't even know if it's true exaggeration. I really don't think he knows. I think he looked out there and thought, it's a big arena. Because let's say you go to San Antonio, in New York City, Times Square.
How many does it hold?
He booked
it holds 9,000
for the 7,900 seat configuration, and Or Maybe Center said, we will cut it off when we get to that.
Right.
So he knew a week earlier there's going to be 7,900 there.
You say he knew. I don't think
his campaign knew.
There you go.
Okay.
His campaign knew.
Okay.
He's used to doing Madison Square Garden or places. He goes into a place, he sees a loaded place, and then he looks outside when he gets there because there were probably more people outside. You were there.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
I was at home.
Well, wait a minute.
Facebook.
Well, how dare you then to say anything? Aha!
Where were you? You were at home too.
I was at home, but I'm not casting any stones.
But then he tells Greta that night, ORU Stadium, there were 20,000 people there.
Right.
When he said 15,000, and we knew it wasn't more than 8,000.
It's all good.
Yeah, but if you add 8 plus 7 outside, that's
how do you
15.
know there were 7 outside?
Well, you don't know there weren't.
And then that
you see,
could have been pregnant. So
we're not done arguing this.
Were you there?
No.
Oh, okay. What's it?
Yeah. I was one of those. I was like, I'm not gonna go waste my time going to that.
But you know what?
Yeah, that's right. You were still a Cruise fan.
Well, but 4 years earlier, having been part of something when Santorum, nobody ever had 5,000,
right?
And that was a big mark. And for Trump to just totally demolish that record,
right? And there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people outside.
Yeah. Despite all the exaggeration, it still was a mighty, mighty feat.
Right.
Trump is bigger than life.
And think of this, David. It made us friends.
That's what I say. There you go.
It accomplished this.
True love was born.
So, yes. True love was born. Oh, man. That's good.
Hey, one of the things, and I do want to get into, but we got to be sure we talk about the dates coming up.
Sure.
Because that's kind of the main reason I wanted you here is to get everybody updated.
Right.
So.
On the
but the January 6th, were you done with that?
Yeah, I am.
All I wanted to add on that, end of the day, you were locked in your hotel room.
We were. That night, there was a 6 o'clock curfew. You had to be in your hotel and in the room and all the restaurants in the hotel were shut down. All the restaurants in D.C. were shut down. There was no place to go that you could get food or anything like that. Fortunately, we packed 2 ice chests full of food, and so we brought our own food. But that night, van loads of militarized police officers came down and exited just right in front, because I had it all on video. And they surrounded the hotels, and they would not let you leave. I mean, people could not even go out on the driveway to smoke a cigarette if they wanted to. And so everybody was being kept inside, and they would not let you out. And so there was a smoke alarm that went off, or a fire alarm that went off, and I'm like, I'm not, I'll just burn with the building. I'm not going out there.
Jumping out the window.
I can just hear David Oldham, who's with you, saying, curfew's unconstitutional.
That's right. Yeah, I was talking to somebody out in the hallway and telling them that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But, it was an experience. And like I said, it took me 2 weeks to decompress, because all you could do is you see what they're showing and what they're saying, and then you're trying to relate it with what you saw. And I can tell you, you felt like there was something off kilter the whole time. And so it almost like you were an extra in a B grade movie that you didn't know you were an extra in. You know, it was just almost too choreographed, it was a setup, is what it was.
Well, you've been to Washington probably more times than you can count, with all the things with Freedom Works and stuff. And then for you to go in and see all of this happening, knowing, okay, they have planned for this, but yet they didn't want to prevent it from happening.
Right.
It was, the head of Proud Boys got out of town the night before. He says, I'm sensing a setup here. Yeah. And they still put him in prison.
Yeah, that's the worst thing I've yet seen.
No, I mean, and what's a shame is that we don't see America being the America that was created almost 250 years ago. We see that we're going back fast, and we always would compare would say, oh, but Venezuela, we'll never be like Venezuela. You may be saying welcome to Venezuela anytime soon now, Yeah,
no, it is. We are in perilous times unless we stand up and resist. We've got to resist this, and it begins with you. It begins with you at home. Just the small steps. We've got to take our government back locally. And it starts locally.
That's it.
It really begins.
If we can do it at the local level, we have an amazing congressman. We're very well represented in Congress.
Now you're talking Kevin Hern,
Congressman Hern.
Yes.
We have a supermajority in our legislature in both the House and the Senate
in Oklahoma.
I want to say both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Josh Brooking is also a very good.
If you remember when we fought Common Core, Josh Brooking was very instrumental in helping us defeat Common Core. And in fact, right after that was in 2014, he was running for re-election for his second term in the state Senate. And about 2 or 3 carloads of us went down to Durant and door knocked for Josh, because, we were very appreciative of everything that he had done for us. Yeah. And then in 2018, he had promised his wife that he was only going to be there for 2 terms. And so he left just as he had said he would. And then the fact that he's now our District 2 congressman, I can't tell you how exciting that is, because you know what you got. It's just like with Jim Bridenstine. You knew what you got.
Yeah. Yeah, it's solid. I want to talk to 2024 is a big year on the political calendar.
It is.
And it starts earlier than people realize. And that's why I said, we got to get you in this week.
Right.
Because what's coming up this month?
So January 23rd, we have our precinct meetings. And they are based on House districts. Okay. You can go to our website, tulsagop.org. Under the events tab, you will find the precinct meetings, the locations, who the facilitator is going to be, and what the House districts are. that's going to be covered under that. Okay. So that's going to be January the 23rd. It's a Tuesday evening from 6 until 8.
Okay.
Now, the purpose of the precinct meeting this year, we're not electing precinct chairs or vice chairs. It's for the sole purpose, pretty much, of any rules or platform changes that anybody would like to see made, and then also for us to elect our delegates to go to county convention, who will then go to district convention, so that we can elect our delegates and alternates to the Republican National Convention,
yes,
as well as our elector and elector delegate alternates.
Okay, so, now that's presidential electors.
That is presidential electors.
Yeah, and friends of yours and mine have been elected that for Tulsa County, our CD1. And so people, we've seen this, especially, I remember Trump and Cruz battling over Colorado's delegation, and I still remember, what was the guy's name? Sean Hannity.
Right.
Talking about, it's just not fair, I don't understand it, this is convoluted, and Ted Cruz says, oh, Sean, you do too know what's going on. Is the Cruz people had the delegate slots, right? Because they know the inside baseball.
Right.
And the Trump people weren't quite as up to do. Right. And so Colorado's delegation ended up going for Cruz in that. So I want to talk to you. What have you heard about candidates or candidates? Because there's like 8 of them that are going to be on our ballot.
Yeah. Well,
I'm saying that are going to be on our ballot.
Right. Well, then, yeah, when I say still left, I just meant that because we've had so many of them that have dropped out already.
Yeah.
The only organized right now that they have in the state of Oklahoma that I'm aware of is Trump's campaign. They are the only ones that have reached out to the parties and, to the state party or to the county party and let them know that they're in the state.
You remember DeSantis had this big rally, and he had Stitz endorsed him, and McCall, and all these political leaders, and yet they don't have a ground game. Wow.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that's really
not that I'm aware of. Nobody's, initially, because I was at that rally. I was at that you couldn't find. It was the weirdest place. But, yeah, I haven't heard anything more about the DeSantis team. And so I think that they pretty much know that Oklahoma's going to go for Trump. So instead of spending resources and stuff here, we will definitely be a flyover state in regard to primaries, just because I believe that with Trump we're the reddest state in the nation. Trump won all 77 counties in 2 elections, back-to-back elections, and they probably don't see that it's going to be any different at this time. That's me speculating.
Right.
But
hey, if nobody's come to the party office and said, hey, by the way, we're organizing here, here's the local contact. Right. You've not gotten any of that.
Nope, have not gotten any of that. So, it's a different election cycle, David. It's not it's not a typical, open seat election cycle, so.
I don't think really, this is a battle in the primaries. I don't think that's the battle. The real battle is this court battle. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Trump is going to be our nominee. Yeah. And I think this is what disappoints me so much, that you still got Haley and DeSantis and the others. Vivek, yeah. Actually, though, Vivek, I see more as in it to challenge the others to get out, to leave him alone. Right. That's almost what it sounded like. Because when
he's
you
almost
see,
like a proxy for Trump.
Right. Even in the debates, he's more defending Trump than he is defending himself.
I think he's the heir apparent to the Trump legacy at this point.
Yeah,
DeSantis could have been, but now I don't think people are trusting him.
No.
That's me talking.
Exactly. So. But as far as the actual nomination, I think the real battle, and this is why this Thursday night speech by I call him O'Biden, I think that's why this happened.
Right.
Their whole battle plan has to be to convince people that Trump is an enemy of the state.
Right.
That's their campaign.
That's all they've got.
That's all they've got.
And I don't think that that's a winning strategy.
No. It's not a winning strategy. And if they don't get off of it, even the black community is now buying it. The Hispanic community. It's funny. They're saying all of this, and down here below, there's a flooding in all these people where the people live. They're seeing, you've got this flood of illegal immigrants,
right,
just destroying their cities. They're giving all this money to them. They're asking for more and more taxes, more and more taxes, more and more. They're taking from us, giving to them. And over here, you're trying to point at Trump and pulling all of these legal tactics and everything like this. No, I think you're going to have a political revolution here.
I think so. I think you're going to, but I'm seeing even where younger people are starting to lean more, towards the conservative message.
Yeah.
I hope so. A young couple very close to my family who's registered Democrat called me last night and said, now, how do we support Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? And I said, well, now he was Democrat, but he's moved to independent candidacy. And those independents that are going to be on the ballot, they're not part of the schedule until you get to November. Right. But I said, you're Democrat, but you're not supporting Biden. Oh, no way. No way. And this is young people, Democrats.
Right.
They're they've had enough. And so that encouraged
Robert
me.
Kennedy is a good.
He's friend of Eddie's family.
So no, I mean,
your daughter is a close friend.
He's not going to be. It's like I tell people, he's not going to be a perfect candidate, but he is going to be a viable alternative.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what people are looking for.
Yeah,
it's what we look for in Ross Perot, right? Mm-hmm. I mean,
it'd be interesting if all of a sudden you find he's the vice presidential candidate. It's Trump and Kennedy.
Yeah.
Now that would be, in a lot of ways, to me, the Trump campaign very much resembles Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
In 2012. No, 2012. I'm sorry.
1912.
1912. And I'm just wondering if possibly, but that would be very interesting if you had Trump and Kennedy. Wow. Because I don't know if you know, but Trump and John Jr. were very close friends. Very good friends. Yeah. So, there's a connection there. And so, but what's really weird, Caroline's son hates Trump with a passion.
Oh, the rest of the Kennedy clan hates Robert.
Right. But it's
Robert is true to his 60s Democrat values.
Right.
He's a civil liberties guy.
Right. Yeah.
And, it's funny. I was talking to a Democrat friend of mine, very in leadership in Oklahoma. She used to be a member of the ACLU. And I said, what happened to you guys? You guys used to play an important role, and they're all about minority rights, not civil rights.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's the hippie libertarian I remember that I was a part of.
Yeah. Right.
In fact, it's funny because Tucker, he was interviewing the founder of the Sierra Club. Was it the Sierra Club or one of the environmentalist groups? Yeah. And the guy is totally against modern environmentalists. He said they're destroying the earth.
Yeah.
He said they have nothing to do with the true environmental movement.
But that's usually the case. They get co-opted, and then next thing you know, what they originally stood for is no longer what they they stand for.
And what I think has really happened, it's what happens to so many of these organizations. Some money people get behind them, offer them money to come up with alternative.
You see that in our state. You see that with state groups and organizations. A little bit of money, and they sing a different tune.
Yeah.
So.
You don't have to want to name any of those, do you?
Well, I've gone to the Capitol with Ronda a number of times, and sometimes you feel like you need a shower when you get out of there.
I know.
Sally Kern, I was asking Sally one time as, she termed out 12 years, and we had this young Republican woman who joined the platform caucus. I said, Sally, she needs a good mentor. And Sally says to me, Dave, I gave 12 years of my life in that building. I can't stand to look at it, much less go in it.
Yeah, I can understand that. But it's an exciting place, and I can tell you that with some of the stuff that we're looking at this year, one of the things I do plan on doing is taking people down to the Capitol to advocate for the changing of school board elections and, a number of different things that are going to come up. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but one of the, I think it's a state rep, same state rep that did it last year, which is a Democrat, wants for illegal immigrants to have driver's licenses. And so that's going to be another thing that we have to fight this year. And so, the fights never go away. If you win, it's a short victory because they're coming back. Yeah. And they're going to come at a different, come at it from a different angle, but they're going to.
Okay,
they don't ever go away.
Let's talk to that, because you made a great point earlier. You said, find your cause, find your issue, and stay with that. Don't get scattered all over. I hope I'm not misquoting the intent of what you're saying. If a person wants to go to the Capitol and focus on an issue, stay on that issue, right?
Well, stay on that issue. I mean, you can do more than one. You can do more than one thing. But what you find in, like right now, especially with a number of different groups and organizations coming out and stuff, is that number one, everybody wants to be the leader. And nobody wants to do the work. Okay. So, and then, so you've got to find something that you can do. Everybody doesn't have to devote the amount of time that I dedicate to the party.
Right.
Okay. But if you could give me 2 hours a month, I can do a lot with 2 hours a month, or if I can give you a project to do, or if you can, then if we're all doing that, then it doesn't all fall on me and on Charity and Jennifer to do.
Okay. Now you mentioned two names.
Well, those are my vice chair and Charity is a state committee member, but we all work together as a really good team. We make a great team when we work together.
So they handle more getting people plugged in places.
We all do different things, but like Jennifer, if I have an event, I'll say, Jennifer, I need a location. I need, this is what I need. And Jennifer will go out and get me the information on locations.
Gotcha.
Charity, I'll say, Charity, I need artwork and I need a sponsor deck. She'll come up with things like that for me. When it comes time for the precinct meetings, we were all in there trying to figure out, how do we divide the House districts?
Yeah.
How do we do this? And what locations do we look for? Because I was trying to get out of having to pay for as many locations as I don't. So we tried to use libraries, because libraries should be available. So, it's just, it's if everybody will do something,
okay,
we can get it. So if you like to advocate, come on, let's advocate. Okay. But you can do something else as well.
So Jennifer and Charity could probably use some assistance that they can build. Yes.
So how do they get in touch with you or the party to
You can go to TulsaGOP.org, and there's a place in there for volunteer, or just to sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter and find out what's going on, because I'm always got a button on there for volunteers.
Okay.
And so just come on in and volunteer. Let us know that you want to work.
Yeah.
We've got the media studio that we're putting together. I'm going to need help in that. I've got college Republicans that are willing to come in and help me with that.
Good.
But we're going to need other people too.
Sure.
And so
your office on 51st, 2 blocks from the old Kmart to the west, it's Hobby Lobby now.
Correct.
So if they see Hobby Lobby right along I-44 there by Harvard, you're about 2 blocks west.
Right.
There, roughly.
It's a 3-story white building. Mia is on one side of the building, MIA. And it's a secure building, so if you come, you're going to have to knock to get in, and and stuff. But we're going to always have campaign literature. We're going to have information on the party, information on groups and clubs and organizations.
What hours are you?
10 to 3 Monday through Friday.
Okay, 10 to 3 Monday through Friday. Harvard. Well,
it's 2816 East 51st Street. And so it is. It's on 51st Street between Harvard and Lewis.
Gotcha. Good. And so we've talked about the precinct meetings that are Tuesday the
23rd. January 23rd.
And they go to tulsagop.org, and we'll find under events.
Under events, you'll find the precinct meetings, and you can look it up by your house district. If you're not sure what your house district is, look on your voter ID card, or you can go to OK Voter Portal and put that information. You're going to need your ID number, because we're gonna check every person that comes in to make certain that the people that are participating are registered Republicans, because there have been times that we found Democrats or just non-existent people that have registered. So, make sure that you know where your house district is. Look for your house number and match it up to the location. All meetings start at 6:00 or scheduled from 6 until 8.
Okay, so if people aren't up to date, let's say they're still registered to vote at their old house across town, they can re-register in the proper one right now.
They can go to OK Voter Portal, and you can go in and you can change your party affiliation. You can change your address. You can change anything if you're married now and weren't or was and not. You can change all of that stuff. All of that's done online. You can also get people to register to vote online.
Yeah.
So they offer that. So there are a lot of services that are offered by the election board that
you can do from home
that help us. That's exactly right, or from your phone.
Yes,
you're sitting in the doctor's office.
Okay. So I got 2 more dates I want people to know about, but this is further down.
Sure.
After they go to the precinct meeting, they in all likelihood will be invited to be part of the delegation from their precinct to the county convention.
Correct. And that's February 24th. We do not have a location just yet. We had been working on it, and then in the month of December, Jennifer had a baby. Her grandson was born about 8 weeks early, and so it kind of threw things into a kilt.
But that's fine. So just put February 24th on there.
February 24th. We're trying to find it, trying to make it. It'll probably be either a school or a hotel.
Yeah.
It's what we're going to do. And then on April the 6th, our district convention is our district convention. And that's the convention. There's no rules. There's no platform. There's no nothing. Right. We're just there to elect delegates that will represent Congressional District 1 to the national convention, and our elector and alternates.
Yeah, 3 delegates, 3 alternates, and an elector. And elector alternate.
Alternate.
So 8 there. And
there is a process. So that's one thing I think that people really need to know. Just because you want to go to the RNC or, the convention, there's an application, because they want to see how involved you've been with the party. So, you need to be able to have some history with the party. You have to be able to pass an FBI background check, and you also you have to pay your own way. And I would estimate that it's going to be anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 total cost. So people need to know that before they apply to become a delegate or an alternate, that everything's on you. And, we have our little costumes, our little outfits we have to wear. So,
is that a part of the $3,000 to $5,000?
No, I don't know. Yeah, probably. But, there's shirts with the logo or the emblem on it and all of that, and your blazer, because and there's certain ways we see today. Oh, yeah. No, but it's fun. It's a wonderful experience.
And from what I understand, the hotels aren't cheap.
No.
But there's all kinds of free food.
Well, there's different parties and stuff.
If you sell your soul, there's free food.
Well, like Langford will have an event. I'm sure Mullen is going to have an event. Freedom Works always has something. All these different groups and organizations that and you get to meet some phenomenal people. Yeah. But it's, it's expensive but it's fun, and I do not regret ever having gone to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember endorsing you for, in 12. I think that's the first year you went.
I did.
From the district convention. But anyway, so those are the big 3 things. And if you're a registered Republican, you are totally within your power and whatever means to get elected to these things.
Yeah.
Now, but you've got to convince people that you're trustworthy.
That's right.
Right? Because especially electors, like we've always wanted to be somebody who couldn't be bought out.
Well, but now we've kind of changed the law now where it's winner take all, so you don't really have a choice on. You can't go in and just say I'm going to change my mind and do something different.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about David Oldham, dear friend of both of ours, and he got over 1,000 emails begging, pleading him to switch his vote from Trump to Hillary.
Yeah,
that's what it was in 2016. And, interesting.
Fat chance on that one.
All right, well, so, I got the dates out of the way, Eddie.
All right, good.
So we've got January 23rd for precinct meetings, February 24th for our county convention, and April 6th for our district convention.
And the state?
The state convention is May 3rd and 4th and will be held in the Oklahoma City metro area.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so here's one of the things that I've done. I partnered with the Democrat Party and the Chamber of Commerce and the election board to do Adopt a Precinct, what we're trying to do is encourage businesses to allow their employees to work the polls, but not lose pay and not lose time.
Oh, good.
Okay, and still receive a stipend from the state. So Nathan is working on some tax credit legislation for businesses that participate in this.
Okay.
One of the hardest things that we have is finding poll workers.
Yeah, I know.
And now we're starting to lose polling locations because churches are starting to say, we don't want to have anything to do with this anymore. Mm-hmm. And if we do that, we're screwed and we're mail-in ballots because that all it does is keep making the argument for a mail-in ballot. Well, all we have to do is send everybody a ballot and then they send it right back or they drop it off. We don't have to have 251 locations, know? So, that's a definite need that we need to make people aware of is that we need poll workers, out there working the polls.
I think you got sound going here, right? I'm going to add this. Okay. What you just said needs to be in our podcast.
Okay.
So.
No, that's fine. I just, it's a great need. And, I know that there's a huge push for mail-in ballots. And
I know.
And if we want to beat it, we've got to be aggressive about it and not wait until it becomes a super issue.
Yeah.
Cool. So.
All right. Great. So we got that.
Nathan's doing a great job as our state party chairman.
Yeah, we had him in here right after he got elected and stuff. So good. Oh, yeah, presidential primary. That's another important date.
March 5th. That's Super Tuesday. Of course, everything begins in Iowa on January 15th. So I would encourage everybody to watch the news, watch what's going on, watch the caucus process.
And if you've got friends in Iowa, relatives in Iowa,
remind them to get to caucus, regardless of the weather.
I drove through there twice and put up my Trump sign as I was going through.
Drove through there.
And then March 5th, Super Tuesday, will be a number of states that are participating in the presidential primary.
Yeah. Now, when you and I were working back in 2015, that's a long time ago.
Well, they were sound like it is.
They were trying to change our primary to a later date.
Yes, we fought that, yes.
And Josh Putnam, who's probably one of the top political scientist guys, has a website called Front Loading HQ, and he was listening to our testimony that day. I talked to him since. There's been a shift going from caucuses to primaries, Colorado being one of them.
Right.
They were a caucus state. Now, Colorado is thinking of petitioning for emergency approval to switch back to caucus because of what the Supreme Court there did. And I read, according to Josh's website, 5 other states have now switched from primary back to caucus.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, because that encourages so much more participation than the way that we're doing it right now. And I'm not opposed to a caucus form of primary. I just think that I think that if you see open primaries, which is a concern that will be coming out this year because there may be an initiative petition for that, I think if that occurs, then I think you'll see the Republican Party switch to a caucus type primary, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sure. But at least it's good to be prepared with a plan.
Yeah,
In
Oklahoma, an open primary may not be as big of an issue because we've got so many people going Republican.
But they're going Republican because they have to be a Republican to vote in a Republican primary. So, because Democrats allow for independents to vote in their primaries.
Right. But what I'm saying, but the vote here is so heavily Republican anyway. It's not necessarily an issue. But in some states, like in Texas, it would be But it's the way that the left gets their foothold into our primaries. That is true.
And so we fight and protect our primaries.
Well, Ronda, you and I could mention names, not that I want to here, but there's several people at the legislature, in the legislature, that ain't no conservative Republican.
Well, true.
Right.
But let me remind you, David, when you stop and you think about the number of people that are actually involved in the Republican Party, and if you base it off of our last convention, which we had about 1,400 people there, so let's up the number to 2,000.
Okay.
2,000 people out of 1 million, over 1 million registered voters, Republican voters. We're not doing a good job. Or
it's 1 out of every 2,000.
Aren't doing a good job in getting the message out on the candidates. It also has to do with the quality of candidates that they put out there. You know, the thing is, you get mad at somebody. You threaten to primary them. You get somebody, you think, oh, this person's going to primary them. But then they don't realize, okay, for this size, for a Senate side race, I got to raise millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And so it's the candidate and the campaign's responsibility to change the mind of the voter. It's not the party's responsibility. And that's what I try to tell people. We've got 2,000 people that are very passionate about the party. But when it comes down to Republicans, to voting Republicans, we're not doing a very good job of convincing voting Republicans that the candidates that they have in office aren't good.
Yeah. And that's my concern about going to a caucus state is you might have a more disconnect between the party apparatus and the base of the people.
Well, I think that you're going to get more people to show up. I think it's going to take on an entirely different flavor. It's going to look completely different. And so, but like I'm prepared, and I'm not prepared for that to occur, but I like the fact that we have a plan B in the event that something else, and then we can start working out what the nuts and bolts look like.
Yeah, see, one of the things that bothers me in a sense is you have people like Joy Hoffmeister, who never was really a Republican, and you get them, they figured out in the state that it's a conservative state, that you need to be a Republican to win. Yeah. So they're registering as Republicans and running, but they're not really, they're rhinos. I mean, basically, they are Republican in name only. And they fooled the general public. How do we?
That's all we had, though. Then we didn't. Okay, let's remember it was Janet Barisi, and
I'm not talking. Forget that race. Okay. That's way. That's past history. She's gone. No, I'm talking about right now in Oklahoma City in the legislature, in the state house. You've got people sitting there right now.
Yes,
that are the same situation, and you've got more in the pipeline that I know people are scheming to do the same thing with. How do we protect against that?
I think we have to do a better job of talking to people, because it's all about relationships. It's just the same as with anything else. Is if you build a relationship, and that's what the precinct's about, building a relationship with people in your neighborhood, and that way you can talk to them and you have influence over, have influence over people.
Are you kind of hamstrung, or your hands tied in a way from being able to inform people that, I mean, as the official party vehicle of being able to inform? Let's say I'm a rhino and I'm known to be left-leaning and so forth, and I come out and I try to weasel my way in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you prohibited from informing people or campaigning against me? Are you prohibited?
I wouldn't campaign against you. I would make people aware of certain issues, and one of the ways that we could do that, and one of the things that we are doing this year is holding forums and stuff during the primaries so that the voters are able to see the candidates side by side, and we'll be doing recording. So we're going to partner with a number of different local groups and organizations, the party is, to hold these different forums and debates so that people can see. We've got a lot of big races.
And then I don't show up.
That's right.
But I have a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
And then I have a lot of money, but I can still get my mailers out, and so forth, and my TV ads.
Listen, it takes
I just
money,
don't show up at the forum.
But the thing is, well, that's true. But then at the same time, now you've got the party, and you have whatever other organization it is that we've partnered with. Mm-hmm. that are going to, number one, they'll probably put a nameplate with your name on it, or a silhouette that shows that you're not there, and then then you go on to let that, and you continue to say,
can you put a big sign that blinks that says why?
Can I throw one idea? And Rhonda, you and I have talked about this. Growing up in Minnesota, both the Democrat and Republican Party have always had a meeting of their county committees before the primary, have that forum, and they do a straw poll. Mm-hmm. And the apparatus is, if somebody gets super majority there, they call that an endorsement of the county committee.
Right.
And it informs the broader electorate of who the county committee has endorsed.
Right.
If it's less than a super majority, they just release a straw poll.
Right.
But what often happens, and the person who only got 20% is often approached, not by the party, but others say, if you'll back out, then we can save our money for the general election. And by God, we're going to remember you as a team player next time.
You remember, I've been a team player a couple of times.
So, I remember, But I think that is something that right now, according to state party rules, you can do it in some counties. Wagner County's done something similar.
What Wagner County does is they have a process. You fill out a questionnaire or a survey, and then you meet with their committee, and then I don't think that they do endorsements, but they put the findings out and make those public on all candidates.
Yeah, I would just soon the county committee do it, and as just a
but here's the problem, David. We have 251 counties or precincts.
Yeah.
And of those, let's say half of them are filled. And so you've got, by the time you try to even get quorum, it's difficult to get quorum.
I understand that.
And so, I don't know that, with as big as Tulsa County is, if that would necessarily.
Yeah. I'm merely bringing it up as a tool.
No. Listen, I want people to be informed before they go and vote. I want you to know who you're voting for. I don't think that, if the county committee said, hey, we want to do this and we want to endorse a candidate, it's my responsibility as the county chairman to fulfill the wishes of the county committee.
Yeah, you work for them.
And so that might be the better avenue than me trying to present it, because then it's going to be perceived that I'm trying to influence the
Yeah, I get that. But I just wanted your reaction to the idea. It's a valid idea.
Well, I think that people need to know.
Yeah.
I think that there are candidates out there that are intentionally misleading and that are coming in and thinking, well, I can just dump a whole bunch of money in here and I can win this seat. And they can.
Yeah.
We've
seen it.
But that's the problem, and it's because nobody's out there. But you have to remember, too, if the party takes action, it costs us money, too.
Yeah.
And so I have to every every dime I spend, I have to get in donations.
Yeah.
And so that's my goal. And, I told you I started out with a specific amount when I took office, and I plan on leaving that same amount, and I've been able to keep it right in there with no problem. So
yeah, I got to commend Bob Jack and the team of people. It wasn't just him alone, but they did leave our party in good financial shape. It hasn't always been.
I'm going to tell you something. Bob is an amazing man. And he does so much to help me. And I hope that when I leave the office, I'm as helpful to the incoming chairman as what Bob has been to me.
That is good to hear.
He's a great, I love having him on our team.
Good.
That's good. All right, Rhonda, I think that's probably going to...
Hey, we're going to be in the Martin Luther King parade on January 15th. You want to come march with us?
Not a chance.
Come on, Eddie.
No, not a chance.
You're not a brother?
Not his brother.
Oh, my.
That's for another discussion.
No,
we'll talk about that on there.
But no, that's part of what I've done as the chairman.
Right, I know.
To reach out and
sure,
do
I
stuff
understand.
like that.
Yeah, and I got to
not everybody holds my views on that whole deal. But.
I got to commend you. I know of, in the 40 years I've been down here, 2 people who stepped up to run for county chair and then run for another term. It's you and Terry Simonson.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me just say this. Like when we were working on the precinct and putting the packets together last year, we worked our tails off to make certain that we had a good packet to give to precincts, which made our job this year a little bit easier. All I had to do is go in and make adjustments for it being for a district, to include the district, take out some of the verbiage in regard to the election of officers. So I'm hoping that by the time I leave office, there's going to be a way that, it's not going to be this wait until the last minute to get the stuff done.
Yeah.
I knew, when the conventions needed to be. I just went ahead and started planning for them before there came a call. Yeah. You can't wait till the call to get it done. So we had our location set in December. We had all of this stuff going. And so we're ready to go.
Yeah. So one more time, Rhonda, if people want to donate or they want to get a hold of you.
TulsaGOP.org. It's very easy.
Yeah.
TulsaGOP.org. To find out about precincts, go to the events tab. To donate, just look for the big red button.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate you very much.
We enjoy it. So thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome.
I'm Jeff Davis with Just a Thought. From the world hindquarters of dubious information, it's Fake News Friday. Channel 1 in Los Angeles will debut fake AI news anchors in 2024. A New York Times page that said Russia's Putin had defeated the Ukraine is fake. A story in Mother Jones explains why fake news on climate change is effective. But what's fake and what isn't? Singapore's prime minister isn't promoting crypto despite a false story claiming that they are. More fake weight loss drugs are entering the country, so be careful. Someone made a fake live-action Lion King 2 movie trailer. It was pretty good. There are a few swatting episodes perpetrated on public officials lately. Swatting is usually a prank call which brings a lot of police to a certain location, usually public official. Police are looking for a man in Pennsylvania who's passing fake $100 bills. People pretending to be good Samaritans tried to steal a Mercedes van. It didn't work because the owner gave them the wrong set of keys. Just a thought. I'm Jeff Davis.
All right, we're back. Dave, so that was kind of a good lengthy discussion of local politique.
Yeah, I think it's very informative. I'm glad we had Rhonda in. I think we need to have her check in maybe through the year a few times.
Yeah, no, that would be good. It'd be good to have various ones. Maybe we can get Josh Braheen. It'd be nice to have Kevin Hearn come in. That would be.
And you know what? They just said, Dave, you need to send us an email. We got to set this up in advance. Well, so that's part of me. But Kevin's people have been very.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've had him, offered to have him do a phone in.
Yeah.
I have had that, but it didn't work out. So, but so, hey, I want to change I want to cleanse the palate. The palate. Let's talk some football.
Yeah.
Speaking of clearing the palate, bowl. Since we met last, we've had a few bowl games, more important ones. I'm good. My Red Raiders, and I always hate to say this, but we are the ones that had guns up before the pistols started firing.
Patty.
I'm giving it up for the truth. By the way, you know what I found out? Because my wife always accuses me. Yeah, the Red Raiders, they invented everything. She hates that. I'm trying to think. She hates my Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah,
it says. But I said, well, I had to prove it to her. All the things that. So
ask her what Texas Women's University created.
Yeah. Oh, that's cold.
Because she's an alumni, right?
I hate to say lesbians.
Yeah. See, I dated a girl from Texas Women's University too.
Well, yeah, hold on. That's that used to be the what would you say, the wife factory for Texas A&M?
Oh,
because I don't know if you know, but A&M used to be all male.
Yeah.
And TWU used to be Texas Woman's University. Yeah. So what they would do, the prospective wives for the cadets at A&M all came out of TWU. And so what they would do, they would have these socials, these mixers every year, dances where they bust the girls from TWU, and it was a big thing. The girls were all excited, the guys were excited in their uniforms and everything. Yeah. They would get together with the TWU girls.
Yeah. See, my mom went to an all-girls Catholic high school, and they would bus in the boys from Crozier, which is the boys' school, half hour away. The problem was probably half of those boys were actually focusing on the priesthood.
Yeah, that's too bad. Poor girls. Yeah. But I could say a whole lot of that. But I won't touch it. Hey, no, but back to the guns up.
Yeah.
Okay. I looked it all up, and there were several, not just OSU. Not only did OSU steal things from Tech, like the horse and riders, the guns up. Those are two of the things that OSU got from Texas Tech. I'm sorry, I hate to burst your bubble, Cowboy fans, but Tech started it. Okay, the guns up and the horse, the rider. But the one that really got me was Florida State, the Seminole, where the guy rides out and throws the spear down.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield got in trouble for throwing the spear down.
Well, his was that was just stupid.
I know.
But which I've always thought that was probably the coolest of them all. The Seminole riding out on his horse, and then the horse rears up, and he throws that spear with all of the feathers on it and all down.
Don't you know that's derogatory to Native Americans?
Apparently, nobody got the Seminoles didn't get the message. But no, what happened was the Seminoles played Texas Tech in a bowl game back in the early 70s. And somebody saw the rider, the masked rider from Texas Tech, and they liked it and said, "Hey, why don't we get a rider?"
Yeah.
And a Seminole coming out there, and voila, they got their Seminole rider out there with the spear.
Yeah.
And see, what I like about that is they not only borrowed, they enhanced.
Yeah.
They took it to another level. They not only have a rider, but I'd have to say their rider is even cooler than our rider.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do it better. I mean, and that's what innovation is all about, right?
Yeah.
It's not about it's not copying. It's not copying if you enhance.
Right.
Innovation. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. I don't know why. But speaking of the Cowboys, OSU Cowboys, they took care of business in the bowl game.
They did.
Texas Tech started out, they won their game. Kansas State won their game. OSU won their game.
I think West Virginia did.
West Virginia won their game.
Iowa State didn't.
No. In fact, what happened, I went down the field, and basically the big winner, okay, and I'm going to use a different measuring stick by which to go by this, okay? The winner of the bowl series, okay?
Yep.
If you take the conference by the new conference, in other words, Texas and OU are no longer in the Big 12.
Yeah.
They're now SEC.
Yeah, and they both lost.
They both lost.
Yes.
So if you take that, the Big 12 is in second place.
4-1.
Right, 4-1. No, 5-1. It's actually 5-1.
Oh,
yeah. It's
who
5-1.
did I miss? Did KU? No, who? I think KU.
KU, I think, is the only one that lost.
No, I know Iowa State lost.
Oh, well, then KU must have won.
Yeah.
It was only one loss.
Yeah.
Because OU and Texas lost. But anyway, what then hurts us, would hurt us, is that Texas and OU, if you even take the old measurement of the old Big 12, then we add 2 more losses.
And you had a win. Who did OU lose to? Arizona. Who's coming into the Big 12? Right?
Well, but that wouldn't count for us.
I'm saying if you're going with the new alignment, then it would.
You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think
There's
of that.
another one.
I forgot that's even another win. Yeah. See, I didn't even, we might be equal to the, we might even.
Yeah. And I don't know about Utah. How'd they do? Or
Utah, I think, lost, and Oregon State.
Well, they're not part, but
that's right. That's right.
Arizona State, I don't know if they even did a bowl.
They didn't make it.
Right. And Colorado did. So
no. So yeah, you're right. I didn't count Arizona. So yeah. So yeah.
They beat OU.
That's right. So
yeah, we got no love for OU,
yeah,
folks.
The new Big 12 beat the SEC. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they sucked it up.
They sucked it up big time. Yeah.
With the one exception, and I do want to talk about Georgia playing Florida State and how ridiculous of a sham game that was.
Well, but I see. I want to defend Florida State and give kudos to Kirby Smart, the coach of Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. Who came to the defense of Florida State. He whipped their butts to teach a lesson. Okay. He came out afterwards and said, you cannot judge Florida State by that game.
I agree. But he's I agree with what he's saying.
Go ahead and say what you're saying.
But he's calling attention to a growing problem of athletes sitting out the bowl game.
20 players from Florida State.
And they were already hurting to begin with.
Right.
They were down to third-string quarterback.
Well, they lost, exactly. They lost their one and the one transfer, right. Exactly. They were at their third-string quarterback. And Kirby Smart. And Georgia had nobody defend, which is interesting. Think about it. They didn't have anybody enter the portal. Yeah. Every one of the Georgia players decided they're sticking with Georgia. Now, that's a good program, David. Mm-hmm. When you can have in this era today, these players saying, no, coach, we're sticking with you. Mm-hmm. We want to stay at this university and play for this school. That says something. Well, OU's got them leaving like flies. And you know who else needs to be commended? OSU.
Tell me about it.
Who's the big running back? What's his name?
Gibbs?
No. Man, how can we not think of his name now? The number one running back, the guy who should have won the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
For Oklahoma State, okay? Mm-hmm. He's coming back. He's saying he had toyed with transferring.
Yeah, no, I do want to talk about Oklahoma State, particularly Gunnar Gundy.
He's leaving.
He is, and his dad supports him leaving.
Yeah. Well, he basically said, son, I'm sorry, but you will never start at this school.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I really, really, really like not Kale. What's his name?
Mike Gundy.
Mike Gundy.
Yeah.
Why would I think of Kale Gundy and not Mike Gundy? That's just
Right.
weird. Okay. I really, really respect Mike Gundy. Now, the one area that I felt he let down on was when he yielded to the mob about him wearing the OAN shirt.
Chuba Hubbard.
And
Yeah.
the OAN. That
Big
was
mistake.
that was the one disappointment I had in it.
Yep.
But other than that, I really like Mike Gundy. He seems to have been just a really good, straight, and a great coach. But yeah, for the fact that he was able to keep his running back, the number one running back in the country, which is phenomenal to me too, when you think of the fact that what is with OSU, that they have so often had. It's like running back. They talk about Ohio State being running back. Michigan, no, Georgia, it's Oklahoma State is running back university.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders.
Tillman?
No.
Spencer Tillman?
No, Spencer Tillman's at OU.
Oh, okay. No, then there was somebody else.
Yeah, it was before Barry Sanders. Can't think of it. Thurman Thomas.
Yes.
Thomas.
I confuse those.
Barry Sanders. Then you had there have been a couple of others. We're old. We can't think of it.
Ollie Gordon was the running back.
Ollie Gordon.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Ollie Gordon is there now. Oh, thank you. What's the mighty midget that's at Miami now? The receiver. He was a running back at OSU. Beat OU in that big game where
I can't remember it.
Yeah, where he ran that kickoff back.
Yeah.
The Cheetah. He's with Miami. Which, by the way, okay, I'm going to jump around. I'm getting crazy now.
Yeah.
But okay, so over the holidays, I haven't told you all this, but I was in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Okay. And I was at the Miami Cowboy game.
Oh.
Yes, I was at the Miami Cowboy game.
No, you're talking about pro
football. NFL game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where Miami beat the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was humiliating defeat for the Cowboys.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
I'm an OSU Cowboy fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. But anyway, I don't know. I thought it was a good game.
Mm.
I mean, they won by a field goal at the end. Miami did, but no, it was great. One thing I noticed, one thing I've learned, for some reason, I wish college stadiums were as comfortable as NFL stadiums. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. The Miami Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, it's right on the freeway. You exit the freeway. The parking spots are right there. We walked probably, 50 feet to go in.
Yeah.
Escalators to take you up to your, level. You walk in, they have tables and chairs or the standing pads where you can lean and eat. Then they've got like kiosks everywhere, whatever you want to eat.
Yeah. With
TVs all around, with more than just your game. You can watch, they've got every game in the nation going on. And we're sitting there eating, waiting for the game, and then like maybe 20 feet from there you walk through and you're in the stadium. The stadium is covered. It's got a big hole in the middle.
So God can watch.
Well, yeah. It's a bigger hole than Jerry's stadium in Dallas. But anyway, so it was raining and the players got rained on. But we're all dry. Mm-hmm. Every seat has a back.
Yes.
Everything has a back.
Lumbar support.
And armrests.
Yeah.
The food is good. Everything. I mean, it's relaxed. The people are relaxed. Everybody's happy. Everything's good. It's just weird. No traffic. I couldn't believe. And I'm just thinking back on my experiences going to OU games, OSU games, Texas Tech games, you name the college game that you go, KU games.
Right.
It's always, and you got a bench to sit on.
No, a concrete slab
Or
sometimes
or an aluminum bench, one or the other. It's a concrete slab on an aluminum bench.
Right. Cotton Bowl, Notre Dame, Michigan, they're all crappy.
Unless you paid the premium price and they have these folding
little clip-ons
things that they leave there for the special guests.
Yeah.
And they're like have a little foam rubber pad or something, It's just weird. You would think with all the money and the tickets at these games, at these OSU and OU games, they're outrageous. I mean, the prices are $100 a ticket or more. I haven't been in a while. I haven't paid for them at least. So
right.
I have a friend who.
Well, the Bedlam game tickets started at about $300.
Oh man, yeah. See, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You can get a Miami Dolphin ticket for that. I mean, it's silly. And the guy in Atlanta, which the Atlanta stadium, it's an enclosed stadium, but I mean, he has purposely brought the ticket prices very low, and the concession prices are very low, and he is making the biggest profit in the NFL because he's figured out he's keeping the prices low, so people are just buying more merchandise and more concessions because you can take the family and you can spend more.
Yeah.
He knows economics.
And that's how you draw in new blood, new fan support. You sell them the $20 tickets, and then they get to see the people in the $100 seats and all the amenities that come with the $100 seats.
Right, and then they buy the $20 tickets and they buy the $100 jerseys.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then they buy instead of one hot dog, they'll buy 3 hot dogs. And they put chili on them.
Yeah, I agree. You got to have several price points, in my opinion.
Right.
So that you can do that.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So no, I had a good time. We went to visit our son, who he works for
the Panthers.
The Panthers, Fort Lauderdale Panthers, Florida Panthers. Mm-hmm. And they're doing well right now. They're actually doing pretty well. They beat Las Vegas the night before.
They went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals last night.
Yeah. Didn't do real well, but maybe they'll do better this time.
A lot of people wish they got as far as your son's
team.
That's
true. Oh, no, I agree. They went to the finals. So, and he's doing well.
They were a wild card team that made it all the way.
Yeah, they were the last ones to squeak in and ended up making it all the way to the finals. So hopefully they'll eventually get that Stanley Cup. But anyway, we had a good time with him. He bought a Christmas tree and rented this condo. I mean, it was really too much. Swimming pool, had a swimming pool. It was big condo, 3-bedroom. It's just me and my wife.
Oh, he did it just for you guys?
Just for us.
Oh, wow.
I know. And then he did stay with us a couple of nights. And then we had this special event. They opened a new facility for the team, offices and training facility there.
Yeah.
So we got to go there, and I parked next to the goalkeeper, Bobrovsky. Yeah. And so I parked next to his Land Rover, and I'm squeezing in next to him, and he's getting out and he's looking as I'm pulling in. I said, "That's all right, Bob. I'll try not to hit it." He said, "I hope not." That was kind of funny, but anyway, the nicest guys, hockey players. It's weird; they don't take themselves very seriously. Now I don't know, a lot of NFL guys probably are nice guys in either or NBA, but anyway, it was a lot of fun, and we stopped in Nashville, saw some people there, and then Cleveland, Tennessee. You know what's in Cleveland, Tennessee? What's in Cleveland, Tennessee?
Well, there's a Church of God denomination.
There you go. Home of the Church of God.
Yeah.
Not the Church of God in Christ, but the Church of God.
The Church of God, Cleveland, Tennessee.
Church of God, Cleveland, Tennessee. There you go. He knows his denomination.
Yeah.
And then we went over there's a place where South Carolina, Kentucky, and Tennessee, all that corner there, they all meet. And I think we crossed each border. At some point, you make a turn here and you're in Kentucky, and then you turn.
Is that kind of Asheville area? Or that's a little
Nashville's way up north.
Yeah, it's north. That goes into North Carolina.
Yeah, but it's the site. But anyway, it was a cool little town. I don't remember the name of it, but it was fun. So.
Yeah, I've done the Asheville one. You're kind of going over a pass, a mountain pass.
Oh yeah,
there. It's kind of unique.
Yeah,
Beautiful country.
West Virginia, though, still is the most beautiful to me. The waterfalls. You know, they talk about the bridges of Madison County.
Mm-hmm.
When you see those waterfalls and the rivers and those bridges, it really is. It's something to behold. But anyway, back to the football thing real quick. The bowl games were really something, and to see the SEC, including Texas, I'm counting them as SEC basically. I disowned them from the Big 12, but those were. I mean, you don't see usually, though. We haven't in a long time seen the bowl games really matched up like they did. Mm-hmm. You know, the Texas game went to overtime, and then the Washington game ended up.
They were close games.
Oh, they were both very close. Yeah. So it's Michigan. Oh, wait a minute. Did Texas play Washington? No, yeah, that's right. Alabama and Michigan.
Yeah,
that's the one. And then Texas played Washington.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, that Michigan won where that guy ran that touchdown at the end.
Yeah.
Just tough. You know what it is with Michigan? Oh yeah, this is the other thing. This is interesting. This fits right into our ballywick, as they call it. I don't know if you noticed the difference between Michigan and Alabama. There's one big difference.
What's that?
Michigan has what we used to call those corn-fed white boys.
Oh, yeah.
On the line.
Yeah.
On the defense, too.
Uh-huh.
And Alabama, the entire defense, entire line back, the whole defense, black.
Yeah.
Not one white kid on the whole team. Yet, you look at Alabama. I mean, Michigan. In Michigan, you have white kids interspersed offense and defense.
It's true.
And yet Michigan ended up, because to me, there's something about these big Catholic school white kids. Mm-hmm. They're just tough from the East.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had to say, talking to Coach Todd Graham, who's coached several big Division I schools, he said there's what? Oh, okay, we'll got it out here. Yeah. Go ahead and hit it, though. Right. Yeah, so we got better sounds.
So you were talking.
Todd Graham told me, he said, there's 4 states where you get the best recruits. He said California, Florida, Texas, and he said, I'm going to say Ohio, but include Western Pennsylvania to some degree. That's where the top college prospects every year come from, the most target-rich areas. And so if you're a Big Ten school, you're drawing from that Ohio area a lot more. And that's why I'm so happy that the Big 12 brought in a Florida team, because I think it opens the door to recruiting in the Florida markets.
Right.
And if we could have got somebody from some school from California to Big 12, that would have been really nice too. Yeah. But that's part of it. And that's also why I think Deion Sanders really wanted to get to the Big 12, because it opened up the Texas recruiting area where he knows that. He coached high school ball there.
Right.
So it's a big part of it. So that's why I think you look at the school, look where they're recruiting from, and it'll show you what the makeup of your team looks like.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been a good bowl season, and we'll see how next year does.
I got to talk about that, because what's going to happen here any day now? The shoe's going to drop on Florida State. Florida State is getting ready to file a lawsuit against the ACC. If they leave, the ACC, I could see 4 other teams leaving. Yeah. North Carolina for sure. Yeah. And some of these others.
You know where their number one prospect of going to is?
Well, I'm hearing the Big Ten.
No, I think it's the Big 12. The Big 12 is working hard to get Florida State.
I know the Big Ten wants a Florida school,
right,
for the recruiting.
Right.
Because then they're in everything.
But I don't think Big Ten has room anymore. I think the Big Ten is at 20 schools, aren't they?
I think you're going to see, quicker than you might think, you're going to see 3 great big super conferences that are going to approach 20 to 24 teams. And I think it's going to be the SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10. I think that's what you're going to see.
So 30 apiece.
20 to 24 each.
Wow. Well, the way it's going, it's going to be 30. I don't see it stopping at 24, but
and I'm nervous.
Because there's still room out there, with teams. I mean, if you break up the ACC, and then you got a couple of other conferences out there that I think are like on the verge of, they're going to keep growing. And so I could see 30.
Yeah. Now, just to wrap up my last comment on the playoffs here, because this weekend we're going to watch the championship.
Yeah.
Those 4 teams, I think, were about as equally paired.
Yeah, it was a good pairing.
I know Florida State's whining and complaining, but you didn't do yourself favors by not fielding a team for your bowl game.
Well, no. But see, that wasn't by choice.
Tell me.
You're talking about Florida State.
Yeah. Whole bunch of kids in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And
you can't. Yeah, but see, that's the nature of the NCAA right now. That transfer portal. And when they got overlooked, see, I think had they been able to play in that bowl game, I don't think they'd have left.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Florida State for that, and that's one reason I think Florida State is so ticked off, and I think that's another reason I think the players left, because we're not going to get the props that we would in one of these other conferences. Now, here's the sad thing. The sad thing is that a lot of those kids out of the 20 that are leaving, actually 16 were starters. 4 of them were also ran.
Devastating.
But still, 16 offense and defense, But I think probably out of the 16, some of them are probably going to be unhappy. Yeah. They're going to have to transfer again. There'll be a few that'll come out and do well at other schools, but some of them will never do as well as they would have had they stayed.
What the very nature of college sports, Eddie, when you went to Tech, I mean, look, for life, you're a Tech Red Raider.
I am.
Less than 1% of college athletes ever played for more than one college, right? And of those, it might have been a JUCO kid coming in. So now they're all free agents every year.
Yeah, I remember we went to the TCU OU game.
Yeah.
And who was on the field? Who they highlight? What's his name? Peterson. The running back.
Oh, Adrian.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson was there. And everybody just loved it. Adrian was just as happy as a lark being back at OU. He's an OU Sooner for life.
Yeah.
All those old guys, they have it in there. They are OU, and he didn't graduate. He didn't finish all 4 years.
Yeah.
And you talk about a guy that got screwed. He got screwed out of the Heisman Trophy. He should have been a Heisman Trophy winner his freshman year, but they gave it to Matt Leinart, of all people.
The cheater.
Well, I don't care about cheating, but he was never that good. He never went anywhere afterwards either.
Right, but that was a Southern Cal guy, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
And Southern Cal got caught cheating.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't think they got caught cheating because now everybody's doing the tush push.
I know.
What they call the Bush push, which was Reggie Bush from Southern Cal
Right.
who did that.
Right, but USC got sanctioned. Meanwhile, Pete Carroll gets his pro contract,
Right.
and he's sitting pretty, and he's the cheater.
Exactly.
Because I don't blame the athletes. I blame the coaches in the system for setting up the cheating.
Right. But see, that's again, what was it cheating?
By today's standards, it's not.
No, in fact, but by today's standards, he got peanuts.
Yep.
They gave his parents a place to stay.
Yep.
You know, see, and here, listen, it was going on.
Yes.
At other places.
Yeah.
They just people didn't like USC, and so they sanctioned USC. I mean, I could tell you other stories when my son was Georgia Tech, stuff people did, and not at Georgia, from other schools, you know.
Yeah.
And they sanction who they want to sanction.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing about it. I mean, the whole thing, I don't even want to talk about.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think Florida State, they got burned. They got burned in many ways. They got let down. And I'll be honest, I'm not really that crazy about their coach. I'm not that crazy about their coach, but I just think fair is fair, and I don't want to dump on them because they got killed. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible thing. I mean, 60-something with a 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just ridiculous, right?
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah, the Georgia coach was class act.
Yeah, he was.
He did. But, you know, I just got to say, this was the last year of doing the 14 playoff, right? And they're bickering about it now. When they go to 8 teams, I bet there's going to be even more bickering.
Yeah, what about 9 and 10? 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right. No, exactly. Yeah, the next 4 are going to be complaining that they should have been.
It's going to say, but you lost 3 games. Yeah, we lost. Yeah, but your 2 losses were worse than our 3 losses.
Right, exactly. No, here I'll tell you this. I don't know if you remember initially when it was set up, how they did it. It was set up, and the choice was made. You remember you had the AP poll, and then you had the coaches poll.
Yeah.
But then you had the computer.
Yeah, they set that up.
And the computer is what they actually used. And they didn't like the computer.
Oh, no.
And so they got rid of the computer. The problem is the computer was right every time. But they got rid of the computer because these sports writers with their egos felt that they should have more weight than the computer, even though the computer was right. The AI, it was an early indicator of artificial intelligence. And so they decided to get rid of the computer. And what happened this year? Who picked? It was these sports writers, the people with a vote.
Yeah.
And they picked Alabama and Texas instead of Georgia and Florida State. I believe had they picked Georgia and Florida State, you'd have had a totally different outcome. I think Georgia would be in there Monday. Florida State probably would have still lost. But I don't think they would have lost by 60, 50, 57 points or whatever they lost by.
I have a little bit of insight. When I left the coaching staff at NOAA homeschool football team and became the founder, national director of Homeschool Football Federation, I reached out to CBS Sports Line's Max Preps division. That's their high school sports division. They have a computer polling. It's called the Freeman scoring, and it's designed by a computer geek, Freeman. And the interesting thing about that, when you have a computer do it, is we used it to declare our national champions in homeschool football, is a computer treats every game as though you just played it last Friday night. Whereas these human polls, they are going to score based on trends. And you're going to get punished more for losing last week instead of last month. So that's it. That's the key difference. A computer's going to treat them all as though they were last week's game.
Well, I'll tell you the other difference. Money and popularity. And Texas, for some reason, Texas and Alabama are much more popular than Florida State and Georgia. It's just, for some reason, these guys love Nick Saban, and they love Texas. Yeah. And they want Texas, maybe because they like seeing, what's his name? What's the actor that's always on the sidelines with Texas?
McConaughey?
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey or something. There's something about Texas that they just got to see Texas in there, and there's nothing in Georgia.
It's kind of the Taylor Swift effect.
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah, maybe it's that kind of thing.
Like Jack Nicholson at the Lakers games,
because to OU's credit, had it been OU and Georgia, I guarantee you they would have picked Georgia over OU. OU does not have the clout that Texas does. For some reason, Texas is this legendary, mystical god of schools. Alabama, all the way back to their, original. Now, he wasn't the original coach, but you remember, I can't think of anything today. What's the coach way back that had Alabama all those years? He was at A&M.
Oh, Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant, right?
Yeah.
All the way back to Bear Bryant, Alabama has been this legend.
Yes.
Okay. Texas, for some Darrell Royal. Darrell Royal, Earl Campbell. And I love Earl Campbell. I still think he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest running back. Between him and Walter Payton, between those two, probably two of the greatest, if not the greatest running backs we've ever seen. But so Texas and Alabama will always be, in the media's minds, they're always supposed to be in the top 10. Okay. The rest of us don't think so.
Right.
Because we know, like you said, what happened last week.
Yeah.
Like the computer does.
Yes.
We don't care what happened in the 60s. We don't care what happened last year or 2 years ago when Saban did this or that. Okay. Yeah. We care about what happened this year. And I still think if you did 3 out of 5 games, Kirby Smart will beat Saban.
Yeah.
Okay. But and that's why another reason I think Georgia went out and whipped up on Florida State so bad. They had a grudge and a point to make.
Yeah.
Don't mess with us,
Georgia was number 1. They lost one game. And boom, you're gone.
And they kick them all the way out of that. How can you do that? And who do you lost to Alabama by what, 3 points? Right? Texas lost to who? They almost lost to TCU. They lost to OU. And through their season, the teams they almost lost to, they barely beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, they barely beat several that weren't even ranked.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So anyway, I don't want to. I'm sorry, people, that we've been. This is stuff. Wonky
but, we enjoy
stuff
this thing, and I'm not going to apologize for enjoying football.
No, I know, but I don't want to drag everybody else.
Yeah, I do want to.
We could do this forever.
I do want to say, I think we're seeing some things, some unintended consequences. I mean, we've always, you and I, felt like the players need some kind of financial support.
They do,
and when they've got a bad deal, they got to have some way of finding a place where they can shine, where they can bloom.
Right, but the NIL is not the right way to do it.
Yeah, so we're seeing things that needed to get fixed, but the remedy might not turn out the way we hoped.
No, the NIL and the portal, free agency or whatever, those are not the way. I don't know who. It's almost like the agents took control of NCAA.
Okay, so now we're on this. Who controls what? Early on, let's go back 100 and some years, and you had these football conferences where your whole season was to play for the conference champion, and then it was done. You had the Big Ten, you had the Pac-12, they were Pac-8 at one time, But anyway, then they had this idea: why don't we get the winner of this conference play the winner of that conference on New Year's Day in Pasadena, and thus comes the Rose Bowl. So the bowls were really just because there really wasn't an NCAA framework. But that was their solution, and the bowls actually took the leadership, and now they're being discarded.
Yeah. By the way, for people who don't know, that the NCAA is its own, it's a private entity. The football programs of colleges, the sports programs of colleges, have nothing to do with the university.
Yes.
I don't think people realize that.
Wow.
So, for example, the OU athletic department has its own budget, totally separate. It's its own corporation. It's not overseen, tied into in any way with the university or the state of Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma, the governor has no say in the athletic department of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Or OSU or any of the athletic programs. The only thing is the athletic programs pay a certain amount over to the university.
It's like a licensing agreement.
Right.
It's like some sports corporation. I tell you, my oldest son, for a while, was part of the digital marketing at Oral Roberts University. One of the things he did while he was there was redo the whole website. And I mentioned to him about what about, Golden Eagle Sports, he said, we could have nothing on our website having to do with any of the sports programs. They were all on a separate site. He said the university would get in trouble if they did. So, I mean, even the marketing, everything is separate.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand that. That's why you can pay the coaches and everything, their budgets and everything can be so much higher than it is with the university because that's all run through the state budget, whereas this. And so what that has done, it has essentially created an entire separate economy. And that economy now, I believe, has been hijacked by agents, managers, media, all of that. It's its own. It's basically a professional.
Yeah,
it's a professional.
ESPN might as well own most of these.
Right.
Right.
They do. I mean, the Big Ten, and the SEC are essentially owned by. That's again why you have. They chose basically the teams into the finals, right?
Yeah.
And Fox is also it's a lesser player,
right?
And they're able to have their say as well to keep it. I think with the permission of ABC to keep it from being a monopoly and keeping Congress out of it. I mean, there's so much at play here, people, that it's just crazy.
It is, and it can make you a cynic real quickly.
It really
especially if you're alumni of a college and you start seeing things happen that just not at all like 30 years ago.
No, right.
And I got to say, Texas, as a population, is what, 7-8 times as big as Oklahoma? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have, because of that, so many more sports writers, so much bigger economy, and all of a sudden you see why the polling of sports writers is going to favor Texas.
Yeah. Right.
Over Oklahoma. Oklahoma, let's face it, the OU has been an overachiever.
Yeah.
For decades.
It's shocking how popular OU is compared to the rest of the nation.
And we don't have that arsenal of sports writers that are always going to be rah OU.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, I see bleak days ahead for OU.
Yeah.
Because and I hate to see that. I mean, listen, I talk about I'm a OSU fan and different things, but I just think those days may be behind, because going to the SEC now, I don't think is necessarily a good thing. I don't think Brett Venable is actually the coach that they wanted or needed. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get Bob Stoops back. If Bob Stoops, he won that USFL, whatever league, there's USFL and the other one. They merged now, by the way.
Yes.
There's one new league. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't ask Bob to come back. But I just don't think Brett has it to be the one thing. He plays politics. Mm-hmm. I think that Stoops would have told them to pound sand when they wanted him to fire these different coaches that he did. One of them, Kel Gundy, when he fired him over that one thing. I don't think Stoops would have. That would have happened under Stoops.
Yeah.
I don't think, what's the name, would probably have left. The other one, Broyles, his son-in-law.
Yeah. My only criticism of Stoops is that he should have never hired his brother Mike.
Well,
that
probably was a mistake. Yeah, at that time. I think Brett Venable is a good defensive coordinator, as we've seen.
Oh, I hated to see him when he left.
And what you saw what happened to Clemson once he left.
Yes.
But as far as a head coach, I just don't think he's because he's trying out too much to do the offense, and his defense is lagging and the offense. So
yeah, he needs a lot of help in order to put together a winning program. But I want to say, I gave you the analogy of OU as an overachiever. Imagine you're some sparsely populated mountain state like, take Boise State, massive overachiever, and how many undefeated seasons, and they couldn't even get the big schools to play them. They wanted to. Finally, I think OU had to play them in a bowl game, got smacked around by them.
Yeah.
Remember, that was one of Bob Stoops' most humiliating defeats.
Yeah, it was.
So it's tough getting that respect. I mean, in basketball, how long does it take before Gonzaga now is seen as a powerhouse? Mm-hmm. Another overachiever.
Yeah, they are.
So.
Hey, moving on, I've got a couple of more stories I wanted to deal with. One of them is we've got to deal with more election stuff. I want to just deal with where we are. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are kind of doing this back and forth,
Yeah.
The battle for the bottom, They're both at like 9%. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. Why don't you guys just stop? Just stop and quit and just say, okay, we support Trump. But no. But anyway, Nikki Haley is she was on NBC and she suggested that DeSantis join her as the VP. Well, come on. Seriously? Really? You think that's going to – no, not a chance on the world. In fact, here's Ron's answer when he was asked. He said he's unwilling to join forces with Haley. He called her a phony and the darling of the never-Trumpers. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of interesting what he did, that he calls her a never-Trumper.
Yeah.
He's an occasional Trumper, I guess. He's not a never Trumper. He's just not a total Trumper. But at least that gives him some credit there. And and then this was on NBC, and Haley. They asked her would she consider being a vice president. There's no way on earth that Trump would ever consider her for vice president. Why would he do that? There's just not a chance.
Not a chance.
But anyway, and then, of course, Thursday, we're going to discuss Biden had the big what would you call that? Speech, some kind of performance.
They're saying it's the kickoff of his 2024 campaign. What is this?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Series, yeah.
Well, anyway, in his speech, it was a hate-filled speech.
It was rambling. He lost his place.
Yeah.
He stumbled. I mean, the guy is he's senile.
And he again tried to use democracy as the centerpiece of his speech, but he said that totalitarian governments around the world, that their democracy, the Democrats are the champions of democracy, and that Trump is an enemy of democracy. But as I've tried to say so many times, and I really want it to sink into your minds, that their democracy is demagoguery. Mm-hmm. They want to rule everything from cradle to grave.
Yep.
How you think. They want, in fact, even this, they're trying to brainwash you and convince you that what they're doing is democracy, that they're allowing you to think for yourself when they're not. They're trying to take away everything you own. They're trying to take away your guns. They're trying to take away your gas-powered vehicles. They're trying to take away your gas-powered stoves, your heating, your everything, basically. They're trying to take away your rights. They're trying to tell you where you can live, where you can go. I've lived in Europe. I've seen this. In Holland, you have to register. In Germany, you have to register every place you live. The government knows exactly where you live.
Yep.
You have to ask permission in Holland if you can move to a new area. Imagine you live in North Tulsa, in East Tulsa, and you want to move to Jenks or down South Tulsa. You have to register with the Housing Bureau and ask them permission to move. And if you don't make enough money or they don't think you have the right kind of job, they tell you no, you can't move. I mean, can you imagine? That's how it is in Holland. And in Germany, they'll let you move, but they want to keep track on you.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the type of things, and this is what they want. This is where that's what's called, again, democratic socialism.
Sure. Yeah, but you're seeing a revolt. That's Argentina, Italy, Hungary, now Holland. You've got some people elected there that are revolting.
Germany, I don't know if you saw this.
Yes.
Where it's the largest rally of it's the farmers that are doing it.
Absolutely.
It was unbelievable how many their tractors and farm equipment just for miles and miles.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of the truckers of Canada. These are very independent-minded people. Yep. And, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, hey, there's a big attempt. I don't know if you saw it this week. They're trying to, because of the whole Hunter Biden and Joe Biden money, bribery, basically money laundering thing.
Yeah.
They're now trying to tie money to the Trump family. Okay. Yeah. Foreign influence.
Yeah.
Basically, they're trying to say that there was foreign influence. And what they're trying to say is with the hotel, he has that hotel.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's so easily discredited.
Yeah.
If they're interested in the truth.
Yeah. The House Oversight Committee, Democrats, released a report Thursday attempting to connect former President Donald Trump to a pay-for-play foreign influence scheme, but the evidence fell far short of a smoking gun.
Yeah, what they're leaving out is the fact that Trump has said any profit that hotel gets, I'm giving it, get this, to the federal treasury.
Yeah.
So if these foreign dignitaries and people coming to do business with our federal agencies stays in a Trump hotel, then everything beyond the cost of operating, is going to the U.S. government, not to Trump.
No, exactly.
But they're leaving that out.
Yeah. What's in it? Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin. I like to call him Rat Skin.
Yeah, the do-rag boy.
Jamie Ratskin, ranking member of the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, released a report revealing Trump's business entities ranked in $7.8 million. That's a drop in the bucket, really. $7.8 million in the billions when they're talking about, But anyway, from 20 foreign governments and their subsidiaries during the first 2 years of his presidency, including from China, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Malaysia. A majority of that money, however, came from one business that began renting office space from Trump Tower in 2008 and concluded its partnership in 2019. Mm-hmm. And the difference between Trump's foreign income and Biden's is that Trump had legitimate goods and services to sell and was tough on China, while Biden did not have any legitimate business. And Joe has been weak on China.
Right.
So, and this is from Seamus Bruner, the Director of Research at Government Accountability Institute. So, anyway, of the $7.8 billion of Trump's business made during the 2 years in question, 5.8 was paid to Trump-owned properties, was from the Chinese government state-owned enterprises. Records show of that, the committee estimates that the Industrial Commerce Bank of China, Chinese state-owned business, paid Trump-owned properties $5.23 million between February 17 and October 19, and that was basically for rent of properties. But what's funny is, they're renting space at the Trump Towers. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got to pay rent.
Yeah.
You've got to pay rent.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay the mortgage.
And it started in 2008. I mean, they've been renting from him for 8 years.
Right.
So, these people, they'll stop at nothing. But, when you listen to MSNBC, we have shocking new report here this evening. The Trump properties have made $5.5 billion from foreign interests.
Yeah.
Stay tuned as this report continues. Oh, the other thing, the big news at the beginning of the week was that the Lolita Express.
Oh, yes.
The tapes.
The Epstein
calendar. The tapes were supposed to come out.
I think it was a
list.
Calendar. Epstein's calendar of appointments.
Okay. So they were going to release the names. Mm-hmm. And everybody, I'm on X. Every day. Are you on X? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to, and everybody was waiting, the Trump this, Trump. And then all of a sudden, now everybody's upset because Trump's name's not on there. They can't find Trump's name anywhere on it at all. So they're really having fits.
And they did find out that Trump actually, because of an incident with Epstein visiting Mar-a-Lago and trying to go after some young girls.
He kicked them out.
Yes. One of the members came to Trump and said, hey, this guy's hitting on my teenage daughter. And Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago.
Right. Yeah. And that was back in like 2020 or something. I mean, 2000. It was way back. Yeah. Yeah. Trump barred him from the property.
Trump wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah. So,
for the last 20 some years.
Right. So
yeah.
It's these guys keep trying. Keep swinging and missing. And they keep digging the hole deeper and deeper.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I never would have dreamed, Eddie. Mark this day, because of our debates we had way back in 15 and 16, I never would have dreamed that Trump was that clean of an operator.
And that you would be sitting here defending
Yes.
Yeah.
Crow never tasted so good.
Yeah.
So, hey, I do have a state news issue.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, starting this week, you're going to see a whole bunch of bills filed in the legislature. And some of us independent journalists are going to have a lot of fun going through bills. I've actually brought on another blogger that's going to focus on this, and we're going to reach out to some of the legislative staffers there to help us find the bills that are delicious. because there's a lot of nutty bills, okay?
Nutty bills.
Yes,
okay.
there are. And and then there's some that are just novel that actually sound way outside the box are kind of good. One of my favorite guys at the Capitol, J.J. Humphreys, he's from down Little Dixie, and he was the one that wanted to issue Bigfoot hunting license.
Oh, my God.
And we talked about it. I said, move it out of game and wildlife and put it in the tourism department, because that's what we're really trying to do, is promote tourism, because it's a big deal. In fact, I sent you a link this morning. Some Russian websites picked up on it, that there's been some new videos of Bigfoot sightings in Oklahoma. And I sent it to you, the link to a YouTube video. I'll put it up on our podcast website. It's
some new Bigfoot sightings.
It's fake as can be. You can tell this rancher who all of a sudden discovered that he's just a lousy actor. You could tell he's, it was all staged. But it was really interesting because the Russians are eating it up. And you know what?
The Russians are.
Yes. It's kind of like those Italian Westerns. They would do the cowboy Westerns. It's the folklore of it just keeps growing. It's become identified as a truly Oklahoma thing. The whole Bigfoot thing.
Really?
Yeah. So, but JJ had a good idea. I joked around about it, but it had merit. Well, here's another thing, Eddie. As you know, much of our funding of our highways comes from a fuel tax, right?
Right.
And that way, those who buy fuel for their vehicles are the ones paying for the roads, not the single mom who takes the city bus, every day. So what ends up happening now, because there's compressed natural gas vehicles, you've got electric vehicles, and you even got some people that are cheating on their diesel. They're using number one fuel oil, which is not taxed for highway taxes. Well, anyway, so now you got some inequity here. And as those alternative fuel vehicles increase in numbers, and all of a sudden you got less gasoline-powered vehicles and diesel-powered vehicles. So Brian Hill is being said to be a sponsor. He's a state representative for Western Oklahoma, who's saying, let's change this to a tax not on our fuel, but a tax on our odometers for every mile you drive. Well, how are you going to do this? So they did a pilot project. And found out it ends up about the same in this pilot project they had. The problem is, over half of those in the pilot project, when asked, will you report your odometer readings every year?
Right.
And will you let us put a GPS device? It was not just no, it was hell no.
Yeah.
And but I think what you're going to see, if this takes hold, is every year when you renew the tags on your vehicle, you'll have to report your odometer.
Ooh.
And there will be a massive tax. Because the average driver, I forget how many hundreds of dollars. Well, if you're paying that every time you go to the gas station, it's one thing. But when you got to pay it, it's like paying your property insurance as a one lump sum every year. It's a chunk.
Yeah, tax. That's
so I don't know what the solution is, but people who are trying to come up with solutions are getting beaten around pretty bad.
Yeah, well, yeah, it makes some sense. Hey, listen, I want to close with this. This is a good one. Yeah, you'll appreciate this here. West Virginia has recruited a new kid to play football for him.
Oh, okay.
And you'll like this. It's just been announced by this player. He's very excited. And and his name is Noah Nigga.
Noah. Okay. How's the spelling on that?
Noah, Noah, Knigga.
Oh, silent K on there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like knitting starts with a K.
And the person who sent it to me Said announcer's about to be in hell next season. So he's taking a visit to West Virginia, University of West Virginia. So the Big 12 ought to be really exciting next year to watch when Noah Nigger shows up.
Don't disrespect his name.
No. But it says, well, you know a nigger, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If we have to honor everybody's pronouns, by God, this guy's surname needs to be respected.
It needs to be respected. Oh my goodness, this is going to be fun. This would just to see how they. It says, may I call you Mr. Nigger?
Now, come on, is this Babylon B?
No, this is for real.
This is for real?
Yeah, this is.
Oh, my God.
His Facebook page is Noah Nigger.
They're going to dig up his birth certificate. They're going to look for something to discredit this.
Yeah. He's from Lawrenceburg High School.
Wow.
I know. So we will leave you with that.
Yeah.
We will leave you with that. That's Knigga, in case anybody gets offended here.
Yeah.
or should I, I'm sorry, maybe I'm mispronouncing. Maybe it's Knigga. That's what the announcers will be doing. Is Noah Knigga.
Yeah.
Knigga. I mean, they're going to be trying to figure out ways to pronounce this without, and this is, can we pronounce it Knigga? No, it's nigger. Oh man, and his black teammates, I can see him now saying, "My nigga." Mm-hmm. Yeah, Noah. Yep. That's Noah, my nigga. Anyway, okay, all right, that's enough. Hey, listen, thank you so much. My head is hurting from laughing.
Well, we've taken some time off, and we are just getting in.
We made up for it. I think we're verging on encroaching 3 hour, man. I'm taking too much time out. My lips aren't working anymore. No, hey, seriously, everybody. Hey, thank you very much. God bless you, and we will talk to you again, hopefully, next week.